Well, welcome everyone. Ryan Homestead Projects. This is Skoolie Edition, episode number 9. Boy, we got a lot to talk about. Finally got my vanity fixed. I got some AC electrical installed. Got some more walls up, closed in. Built some cabinets. Got my microwave cabinet built. Got a lot more to talk about. So let's get started. Cheers. Well, welcome back everyone. I'm Marvin. It is Saturday, March the 8th. It's late in the afternoon. I got a few things done today. I spent most of the morning getting lost in Harbor Freight trying to pick up some things that were going to help me make my life easier on this job. First thing I want to do is show you a couple of things that I have done, and then we're going to go back in time and I'll show you some stuff that I did earlier today in the afternoon when it was bright and sunny outside. But let's get after it and I'll show you some things that I got done. All right, one of the first things I want to share is that I got the door slides in on my battery drawer. Took me a bit to figure it out and make sure that it was going to work the way that I wanted it to, but it works out really well. I can move them in and out. I did put this piece of wood over the top of the, put this right here over the top. Because when it was extended out, it was a little bit flimsy and I didn't like that too much, and the batteries are going to weigh somewhere in the neighborhood of about 200 pounds. So I put that in there and then it ain't going anywhere. Nice and solid, so I like that. Now I'm going to start working on, now that I got that in place and ready to rock and roll, I'm going to start working on finishing this up inside and putting some electronics in here and see if I can get it all to shoehorn and fit in here. Gonna be tight, that's for sure, but we'll get it done. All right, so the next thing that I want to show you is that I did actually get my sea level cinders in. You can see there's one right here, and I got one on the other side. The one thing that I do want to point out, I wasn't aware of this when I bought it back in August, but to this is a 710 SS cinder, and I found out the hard way that it is kind of limited on its options, because I wanted to have 2 fresh tanks, and you can't program this for 2 fresh tanks. You have to have the 710 SS2. But I talked to support and got some feedback from them and found out I couldn't do what I wanted to do, so I asked a question and they gave me the affirmative on it. So if you look right here, I've got this tab cut and I've got this tab cut. What that is that's the gray and the top. By cutting both of those, that will turn this into a galley cinder. And I have a 709-4P display. The P is for pump. It has a pump switch on it, but it'll do 4 tanks. So this one will register as a galley tank. The one on the other side will register as a freshwater tank. And then I have the SS2 cinders for my gray water tank, so I've got 2 of the same, and I'll be able to program a gray 1 and a gray 2, but I've just got them taped in temporarily right now. I did affix the levels, so my water is going to be coming out of these fittings right here, and I wanted to make sure that I didn't run this thing dry. So as you can see, the bottom of the cinder just so happened to work out that it's right in line with these. So when it says 0, there's still going to be a little bit of water in the tank, and there's going to be all the water in the line. So that makes me happy there. Coming up here to the top, you can see the top of the cinder, and the register is pretty much right in line with the top of these fittings. So when it says it's full, it's going to be pretty much full. It gives me a little bit of wiggle room if I'm complacent and not paying attention, but there it is. There's 710 SS cinders. Got them in, and I'm going to wait until I get all the plumbing done and test everything and make sure, get some water in it. Starting to warm up, so I should be able to get some water in here without worrying about it freezing, and test and see if they work. If you look over there on the other side, you can see that I've got the other one taped up in the same way. And if you notice at the top right here, kind of hard to see, but none of the tabs are cut. That makes it a fresh water. So that's the two things that I did on the inside of here today. Got a lot more things that I want to do. Like I said, I ran out of time because I spent too much time at Harbor Freight this morning. But at this point, I think what we'll do is we'll go back in time. I'll show you some things that I did with regard to my vanity, and also building a microwave cabinet. So let's get to it. Well, welcome back, everyone. I wanted to kick off this episode. I don't know if you remember, in a previous episode I had mentioned that I was having a problem with the faucet on my vanity, and I needed to try to figure out a way to widen out the holes so that I could get my faucet in. And I've already taken care of it this morning. But rather than just telling you exactly how I did it, I wanted to show you so that in case you ever had a similar issue, you would at least have the reference of how I did it and come up with a way that you could do the same thing. To start with, one of the first things that I did was I went around and found my trusty towel rasp, and I was hoping that this would work by itself, but it didn't. So it was really slow. It was working, but it was really slow. So I went to Harbor Freight this morning. I'm getting a late start today, but I went to Harbor Freight, and one of the things that I got was this carbide bit that goes in my Dremel tool, and this was the secret sauce to making this work really well. So how I marked it out. So here's the faucet right here, and I came in from underneath like this, and pretty much marked the center of where the bore was for the faucet, and then put a marker line around from where the gap was, and then marked it out to the point where, so I was making more or less a hole that was the same size as this thread bore. And then I started working on just a little bit at a time, taking all of this material out of the way. One thing that I did notice though with this sink, and I'm not sure why, but it appears that these holes are actually at an angle and they're narrower on the bottom than they are on the top, and that might be part of it. But so the first thing that I did, and I always work from the top because this is the finished edge, but I would just come through and rasp it out like that, get the material smooth and out of the way. I don't know if you can see it or not. It's kind of bright out here, but there's still a little bit of the line that I put there. So for the purpose of demonstration, I'm going to go ahead and try to widen this out a little bit, just to give me a little bit more place so that I'm not so cramped and tight. It does work. It does fit. Everything is nice and it looks nice and straight, but I just want to, for the sake of demonstration, take a little bit more meat out of that. So I've got my Dremel tool, put it on high speed. And then I'll come in here. Very gently, very carefully, just grind it away. A little bit at a time. All right. And that's pretty much how I did it. I mean, obviously, I took out probably over 1/8 of an inch of material. And then once I do that, just to smooth it up, come in with my rasp again. Because that little bit is not necessarily giving me a smooth hole. So at that point, we're good. This side is good. And so now I'll show you how it works. So I put it in here, slide it all the way over, put the other one in, slide it all the way over, and then take the faucet, put it right down the center, and boom, it works. And there is absolutely no space between those. they are actually touching at the bottom. So it's just the right dimension. Don't want to take out too much meat, but I just wanted to show you how I went about doing that and that I got it done. So we're going to move on to other things, and we'll be right back. All right, well, now that we got that out of the way and you saw how I went through all of that, I wanted to show you that I got it back in the bathroom area here. I've got it in place. Everything is matching up the way that I want it to. Everything looks good. I just got it kind of hand tight right now. I'm going to take it back out, put all the plumbing on it, get everything in place, get the drain on the sink and all of that, and lock this thing down. After I do the finish on the walls, I need to close out this top area right here. Put some studs and plywood up here to close this out, but once I do that, I'll be able to start working on doing some finish work in this area. All right, the next thing that I want to try to run through is try to get the cabinet for my microwave built. I've got a built-in RV microwave, and I've got a cabinet that I built for it based off the dimensions of the microwave. So I'm going to start working on putting some pocket holes in place and get this put together, and I'll walk you through it. I'll do a couple of these on real time, and then we'll put it on time lapse and see how long it takes to get this done. I love this thing. I've got my stop set for 3/4 because I'm using 3/4 inch plywood. And I put a piece of plywood over here to block it up so that it would stay level and square, but move it over. I'm going to put 4 holes on each side. I've got some little marks that I'm using as a reference, but making sure that the plywood is square with the base down there, and it is, so knock it out. Alright, one side done. There it is. And you see the pocket holes going through there in each one of those. I'm going to turn it around and do the other side. I'm going to flip this over to time lapse, and then we're going to see how long it takes to get this cabinet put together. built. Got all the pocket holes in, had to cut the back, got that in, everything nice and square and tight. The only disappointing thing is that I meant to glue this all together and I forgot, so I'm gonna have to take it all back apart and glue it because it's going to be an overhead cabinet. But there it is. You saw me also test fit of the microwave, so that worked out well. I'm really happy with it. Yeah, there's the microwave cabinet. I did go back and pull it apart, re-glue it, put it all back together. Now I got it all nice and clamped and tight. Let's see, you might be able to see some of the squeeze out on the glue in the spot. Not the way it's sitting now, it's all dried up. Yeah, there we go. You can see that the glue is squeezing out right there. So she's all glued and ready to rock and roll. I'm going to take the clamps off tomorrow and try to get it in place and see where I want to put it and how it's going to fit. So we'll get after that. Well, welcome back everyone. It's a new day. It is Sunday, March the 9th. I did not get everything done today that I said I was going to do, but I did get some things done that I said I didn't say I was going to do. I had a few ideas and I wanted to capitalize on them, so I went and kind of went in a different direction on a few things, but I do want to show you everything that I got done and we'll wrap this video up. So let's take a walk. First thing that I want to share with you is that this cabinet right here, I figured out that's where my microwave is going to go. Going to be built into the cabinet there under the countertop. It's just tacked in right now so it can glue, all the glue can dry on it because I got it all glued up. I use pocket holes for all the spacers and all of that kind of stuff. There's my microwave cabinet right there at the top and I've got it all clamped. I do have it fastened down. I'm going to have to take it out though so that I can do the line set extensions because I didn't get to do that today. But just so you can see, goes all the way back to the back on the bottom there. I might put a shelf or a drawer or a couple of drawers in there. The space behind the microwave is going to be dead space because I got that line set going down there. So it's kind of tacked in. It's level and square. If you see, it's, I don't know if you can see, but it's pretty much on the line that I have back there. I've got the toe kick installed in the bottom of this one as well. I was hoping to get all of the cabinets done like that today, but it didn't work. As you can see here, it's going to give me a little bit of a challenge to figure out a way to get to all my stuff that's back there. I'm going to have to revisit that. I can't do anything with this sidewall because I got that corner sink, so that's got to be there. One of the other things that I wanted to show you, if you see back there, you see those 2x back there, they're actually 2x3s. So I figured out a way to more or less create a stop for that tank if anything happened and it wanted to move forward or whatever. I've got the two boards that are standing vertically on each side of the sender. I've got a 3-inch screw coming in through the floor above it, right down into the center of those. And then I've got that bottom one right in front of it with two 3-inch screws going down into the wheel well. So it's not going to go anywhere, that's for sure. It's tight up against the tank. I put a lot of pressure on it, and we'll see what happens with it. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. However, when I come over here to the other side, I've got a different picture. And the reason I have a different picture is, if you look, you'll see that foam sticking out from in front of the tank. Well, I don't know why I did that, but I did. And so for this one, you can see I've got a piece right there, so it's going to go in tight against the tank like that, and that's going to provide the spacing to get away from that foam. And then I've got this one that's going to go in here just like the other side and screw down in, and then I'll put screws through the top up here going down into them so that they don't move. But I got those in. I had to leave these disconnected or not fastened, because if I fasten those I won't be able to get to all the plumbing to finish up the plumbing back there. So that's another thing that I managed to pull off today and get done. I also managed to destroy most of my plumbing trying to do all of that. Got to get that back in place. One of the other things that I did that I was really happy about, that I did say I was going to do yesterday, is I got my wiring run from mini splits. I've got my 10 gauge going down to the outside unit. I've got the 12 gauge going back for the rear mini split, and then I've got 12 gauge going up to the front for the front mini split. You can see it along the wall there. That's the 10 gauge going down to the outside unit, and then on this side I've got the 12 gauge, and it goes all the way up to the front. And if we come up here, we really need to clean this bus out so I can walk. Coming up here, I've got plenty of slack as well, and it comes all the way up to the front. There's my line set, there's my control cable, and the other one is the same thing going all the way through the back. And if we come back here, you can see that I've got the 12 gauge coming back here. It runs all the way around. I've got the control cable and the 12 gauge tied together going all the way up to the front. And coming in here. One of the other things, remember, I don't know if you remember, but or if I even said it, but I have some storage bags, so I put this this board across here to provide me the framework for putting some storage up here at the top of this. I didn't quite get to finish it. I'm going to run something back from here to back between where the inverters are going to go, so that I can put a floor in here. It's not going to go all the way across, so I'm going to split it and use that space between the inverters. One of the other things that I did, got me another sheet of plywood in. I got this whole wall closed in. My template worked again, and got that in. Coming around on this side, I did that so I could work on trying to finish the bathroom out, but coming in on this side, got my studs in, going all the way up. Again, I got my 1/2-inch plywood plate going around. Put my studs up. I just need to get a piece of plywood into that hole right there, and this will all be done. And I can start working on doing some actual finish work for a change. I do want to start focusing on trying to get all my DC electrical circuits in, so that I can work on finishing out and closing in the ceiling, get the insulation in on the walls. So I think that's probably what I'm going to be focusing on for the next week or two, is trying to get this so I can start doing some work on the ceiling. But that pretty much covers everything that I did for today. Not a lot, but it was a lot, because I got quite a bit done. More than I expected. Making the cabinet for the microwave took a bit of time, but one of the other things I want to let you know too is that everything is glued. So even this cabinet right here, the sides down inside of here, what I did was I opened it up, and then I just took my glue and just squeezed it so that it flowed down into the inside. You can see right here it's coming out. So this thing is glued and solid, and that's why I brought it in here. I got to move it out, but I wanted to get it in place and lock it in and let it dry in the means, manner, and method that it's going to actually be sitting. So that pretty much covers that. I think that pretty much covers everything that I did for today. This is going to be the end of episode 9. Thanks for joining me. We'll start working on some other stuff and come back again next week with episode 10. Hard to believe we were that far along. Thank you for being here, and we'll be back soon.